So buenas tardes, everyone. It's my honor to be here today to introduce my good friend and colega, Dean Estela Zarate, or your new dean of Loyola Marymount University's School of Education. When I received LMU's announcement, I can't tell you, we were in the office, Sam Brasola let me know, and we literally did our own toast and happy dance because we were overjoyed not only for Dean Zarate, but also for Loyola Marymount University. And it is an understatement to say that you have made an outstanding and stellar decision in your selection. As a nationally recognized leader, Dr. Zarate is deeply committed to student success, to equity, and civic engagement. She was rigorously trained at Rice University and UCLA, and her mentors are here today, and began her career as a faculty member at the UC Irvine School of Education. We at UC Irvine are incredibly proud of her achievements. Dean Zarate's leadership spans multiple universities. Most recently, she served at California State University, Fullerton, holding key roles such as the Vice Provost for Academic Affairs and Coordinator of the School Administration Preparation Program. She has also been a visiting scholar and faculty fellow at the Diana Natalacio Institute for Hispanic Student Success at UT El Paso. Her research focuses on the educational trajectories of immigrant students and students of color, the connections between schools and families, and the experiences of multilingual learners. She also advances anti-racist and ethical leadership in educator preparation. Her research agenda alone in this critical moment will serve not only your university well, the region well, but our entire state of educators. Dean Zarate is a trailblazer. She's also the first in her family to attend college, like myself, the first Latina dean in LMU's history, and she leads an exceptional faculty. So I know there are some faculty members here today because I know them personally, including Dr. William Perez. I know that he's here, as well as Dr. Dolores Delgado Bernal, whose career I've been following for years. LMU will undoubtedly benefit from her leadership, her vision, and Dean Zarate's dedication. As we look ahead, schools of education play a vital role in shaping a more just and equitable education system in our society. I promised to be brief with my remarks today, so I want to focus on three key opportunities, which, as you know, being brief as a professor is pretty much an impossible challenge. So I'm gonna go for it. The first is access, the second is relevance, and the third is building community through authentic engagement. Access. We must recruit and support diverse, talented educators reflecting the communities we serve. Schools of education train both classroom teachers and other leaders who will shape school policy, research, and resources. Who we open our doors to, who we fund, who we train, and who we place makes a huge difference in the educational landscape. Relevance. Our curriculum must evolve to prepare students for today's challenges, from dual language education to equitable artificial intelligence integration. As Dean Zarate's research has shown, bilingualism is an asset, not a deficit, and being bilingual increases the probability of completing high school and attending college. In terms of AI, schools of education need to ensure that we are creating opportunities of learning, not adding to the educational divide that often is created through technology. What makes LMU unique is its Catholic, Jesuit, and Marymount heritage. Advancing your mission and leading within the educational landscape is easier because your mission is deeply rooted in three things: encouraging learning, educating the whole person, this holistic approach to education, and the service of faith, which is intertwined with the promotion of justice. LMU School of Education has a strong reputation for cultivating highly sought-after educators, counselors, faculty, school psychologists, and the like. The last key opportunity I'd like to share today is building community through authentic engagement. Schools of education must partner with K-12 schools and local communities to create holistic learning environments that support both students and educators. LMU benefits from its location in the heart of Los Angeles, a diverse and vibrant city. LA provides this ideal context to study, research, practice, and be engaged with your comunidad. My colleagues and I at UC Irvine have had the privilege of collaborating with Dean Zarate recently as participants in the Southern California University Assisted Community Schools Network. Very long, but it's essentially community schools. Our joint efforts have helped us build strong university school partnerships that nurture shared leadership and collective agency, affirming the important role that everyone in a community plays in student success. Dean Zarate's research has shown the benefits of the integration of parents and families in schools, and that parental engagement looks different for working class Latino parents. Dr. Zarate is a visionary leader, and under her guidance, LMU School of Education will continue to thrive. I am honored to be her colleague and excited to witness her efforts, her engagement, and her future success in this role. Please join me in celebrating and honoring to the podium Dean Estela Zarate.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, John Sebastian, for the beautiful invocation. Thank you, Dean Frances Contreras, for your support. Let me lower this a little bit, I'm a little bit shorter, and dedication to the field. And I want to echo Provost Poon's welcome to our guests. Bienvenidos to LMU. So listening to Dean Contreras' generous summary of my work took me back to the experience that have shaped my research. Like many scholars, many in this room, I draw on my lived experiences and vantage point of the world to pose the questions that guide my search for truth. The vantage point that informs my work is the viewpoint of a student that most of the educators in this room have had in their classrooms. A 6-year-old brown girl with 2 tightly braided braids who doesn't speak English. That girl wears well-worn and clean-smelling clothes and shoes. She arrives at school on time most days, except when her parents' car breaks down. She stares intently during lessons and finishes all her work in class. She appears to understand English because she follows instructions, but doesn't speak to peers or teachers very often, preferring to read in Spanish in the corner. Her parents attend parent-teacher conferences and nod and smile because they also do not speak English. They make quiet sacrifices, like purchasing a desk lamp instead of an oil change for the car so that their daughter can do her homework at a desk. If the teacher pays close attention, the girl with the braids speaks through her eyes, or a frown, or a turned lip. That student was me in the 1970s in Texas, newly arrived in the United States and starting school as a first grader. From the vantage point of that brown girl who read books in the corner, schools were a world away from home. For most of my education, the distance between my home self and my school self was vast, a cultural gap that I navigated largely on my own. That chasm between home and school only began to narrow in graduate school. That's when I began using my worldview to study how schools could eliminate the figurative distance between home and school for English learners and immigrant students. In fact, the scholar whose groundbreaking research proposed a framework that allowed me to tap into my lived experience to pose yet unanswered questions is SOE's very own Dolores Delgado Bernal. And I know she's in the room. There we go. She's Professor of Educational Leadership and co-director of the doctoral program. Her scholarship has reshaped the methodological possibilities of the field. And for that, she was recently elected to join the National Academy of Education, the highest honor bestowed in our field. Over time, and through research and the vision of policymakers and leaders, schooling has become more culturally responsive, more inclusive, and more equitable. One of these visionaries is a colleague here whose research and policy advocacy has changed how we teach English learners and multilingual learners. That tour de force is Magali Lavandez, Levy Presidential Endowed Chair in Moral and Ethical Leadership, and founding Executive Director of the Center for Equity for English Learners, or as many of us commonly refer to as SEAL. She is currently keynoting the National Association for Bilingual Educators Conference in Atlanta. So, you would be hard-pressed to find a school with English learners in California where the work of SEAL has not influenced at least one leader or teacher. In this area, SEAL's impact, SOE's impact, is both profound and generative. Those are just two faculty members at SOE whose scholarship has been relevant to my practice. I could continue naming more of our talented faculty and their significant contributions to their fields. But in the interest of time, I'd like to highlight some other important pillars of our school. Frances alluded to this. A vital feature of schools or colleges of education is the interconnectedness between us and the communities we serve. SOE's exceptional programs and renowned centers would not exist without our partnerships with schools and mental health organizations. Their challenges are our challenges. For that reason, in the fall, I launched #SOEOnTour, a listening and learning tour of some of the 100+ organizations with whom we partner to prepare educators, counselors, school psychologists, and school leaders. Because we intentionally work with all education sectors, I visited charter schools, public district schools, Catholic schools, and independent schools. In my school visits, I heard about stubbornly low attendance, declining enrollment, and post-COVID academic lag. Like the rest of the country, we are also facing teacher shortages and a mental health decline among youth. All of these challenges have been exacerbated by the recent events, namely the devastating wildfires in January and the political upheaval that is continuing to unfold. In the face of these challenges, I saw innovation and steadfast commitment to expanding educational opportunities for everyone. Schools are radically reimagining the purpose and method of education to grow enrollment and to respond to the rapidly changing local and global economies. Schools that I saw were purposefully engaging the social ecosystem in which they exist, like industry partners, community organizations, and faith-based institutions. Here, I'm thinking of Da Vinci Schools, led by SOE alum Matt Wander, where students are immersed in career pathways from day one without having to choose between career learning and rigorous academic learning. He's blown up that dichotomy. Schools are closing the chasm between schools and families. The school leaders that I met understand that the whole child arrives at the school's doorsteps, including their community and familias. Here, I'm thinking of Para los Niños, where two SOE alum, CEO Drew Ferretti, who's in the audience too, okay, somewhere here, and COO Sarah Figueroa Freeman, are leading a courageous venture to strengthen students, families, and communities by providing excellent education and comprehensive social, mental, and economic support services from cradle to college. Schools and teachers are also broadening the scope of their influence to step in where other social supports haven't helped or don't exist. Every school I visited had implemented or is planning to implement social emotional interventions to improve student mental health, increase their engagement, and attendance. I'm thinking of Principal Terry Greiner at Wesson School down the road, who engages social workers, mental health counselors, and other staff to build programs that increase students' sense of belonging. On the whole, education has changed considerably from what many of us experienced. In the past, maybe some of you remember, teachers designed their lesson plans independently, usually based on standardized curriculum focused on core subjects, and taught all students similarly. In contrast, during my school visits, I saw teachers doing things differently. They co-taught with a fellow teacher, they planned lessons as a team, they articulated lessons across grade levels and content areas, finding ways to connect the learning in the school with students' lives outside of school. And they differentiated instruction within the classroom. I saw leaders across all sectors working very hard to invest in instructional leadership and supporting teachers' professional growth. Here are some examples that stuck with me. Wish Charter School, led by Shauna Draxton, yes, and staffed by many SOE alumni, a lot of them work there, is a demonstration site for inclusive education. They continuously study their practice and share their learnings to raise the bar on how to teach students of all abilities. At Playa Vista Elementary, Principal Matika Bullard, I think she's here too. Yes, there you go, yes. A reflective leader shared the evolution of her math teaching and learning mindset through teacher-driven professional learning that she supported. Our centers and faculty, our SOE, are often partners in transforming teaching and learning in our partner schools. Sister Rosemarie Nassif, I know I saw her, there she is, thank you, and her colleagues at SOE Center for Catholic Education have developed and implemented a program to nurture a culture of social well-being in our partner Catholic schools, complementing spiritual and religious teachings. Our faculty are also working with 5 principals at Catholic high schools, led by Casey Yeasel of St. Bernard's. I saw him arrive, so I know he's here. There you go. To deliver professional development that will help teachers serve students of all abilities in their classrooms. The Center for Trauma-Informed Education, led by Professor Bill Parham, is addressing teacher mental health in Archdiocese schools with the support of the Hilton Foundation. The Institute for Innovation in Digital Education and Leadership, IDEAL, led by Shannon Tabaldo, who's also in the room. You have fans. Has developed and implemented professional learning content to support greater digital integration in teaching and learning. Currently, IDEAL is working with 14 Archdiocese schools with the support of the Specialty Foundation. My hashtag SOE on tour visits have shaped an emerging understanding. This is how I'm thinking about this. Educational leaders who understand the world we face innovate to solve today's educational problems. In turn, innovation offers a sense of purpose. This shared sense of purpose then attracts educators who are curious and have worldviews and dispositions to learn and improve. I look forward to continuing my learning journey and sharpening my understanding with more visits to our partner schools this semester. Okay, so by now, you've probably noticed how frequently I mention SOE alumni. Another conclusion I have drawn over the past 7 months is that we have been too modest in describing how our fearless alumni are leading the way in education and mental health sectors, one district and system at a time. So allow me to put this in perspective. Over the past 10 years, which includes the challenging pandemic period, we have prepared over 4,400 teachers, counselors, school psychologists, and principals. This figure includes more, This figure includes more than 700 Catholic school teachers in the Cast in Place programs, our Catholic school teacher preparation programs. In the past 20 years, we've graduated nearly 300 doctors of education. That's great news, too. And here's something else to clap at. So we can wish CAST and the doctoral program a 20th happy anniversary and a happy 25th anniversary to Place this year. Our alumni are shaping policy to improve education. 3 of the 7 elected school board members for LAUSD, the second largest school district in the country, are alumni of the School of Education. No other higher education institution is as widely represented on that board. In Southern California, 7 alumni and 3 doctoral students hold the title of superintendents in school districts, county offices of education, or dioceses. 17 other SOE alumni that we know of are in publicly elected positions in California, mostly on school boards. Indeed, SOE alumni are leaving their footprint in communities across the state. What truly kindles my hope for the future, especially right now, is that all of our SOE alumni understand their assignment: to do good, to pursue justice, and to lead with purpose and faith. So how do we yield such fearless trailblazers? It comes down to 3 things. I'm giving you the recipe. First, extraordinary faculty and staff work closely with our partners to design programs to meet today's educational workforce needs. Second, our faculty unpack what social justice looks like in practice, starting with examining our own hearts and minds. And third, with the support of many of you in this room, we invest in the future of our students. Let me explain further. Something I learned upon coming to LMU is that our faculty have designed programs in a unique and valuable way. For instance, through our partnerships, we are leaning into residency and intern educator preparation pathways that allow students to work as teachers while pursuing their credentials and degrees. This reduces potential student debt burden, and that's a big deal for this generation. Our teacher preparation students complete their preliminary credentialing in year 1 and can pursue a master's degree in the 2nd year, while simultaneously adding an authorization as part of their coursework if they choose. For example, a student could add a bilingual authorization to an education specialist credential. This allows our graduates to bring additional skills and add capacity to the schools where they go work. Here's another fact. 71% of our students in our teacher preparation programs attended community college. Half of them finished college 2 or more years before entering our program. They often have had prior work experience at schools as paraprofessionals or instructional aides. This pattern reflects an economic reality. These students are, for lack of a better term, adulting. They want to further their careers, but cannot, and usually do not stop working to attend graduate school full-time. On our end, we do a lot at SOE to help students and our partner schools defray the cost of becoming teachers. We help students and schools apply for state funding, we provide scholarships, and co-build school consortiums to pool state funds. We're also grateful to the Dan Murphy Foundation and Doheny Foundation and others for supporting cast and play students. Yet, K-12 schools across all sectors continue to need more teachers. Growing scholarship funding for tuition and living allowances is vital to continue to attract talented future teachers for our schools. I'm going to pivot a little bit and talk about our counseling and school psychology programs, which are at the forefront of the national mental health crisis among youth. Our school psychology program produces the highest number of credentialed school psychologists among nationally accredited programs in California. We're it. And it's only going to get better because applications for that program have increased 40% this year alone. Our counseling program prepares students to become licensed counselors and credentialed school-based counselors at the same time. This unique combination also offers an embedded authorization that equips our students to work with the most marginalized populations, including unhoused and foster youth. Most counseling and programs in California do not bundle these options like we do. Here again, the program adds value to our students' degrees and increases their capacity to work with a range of populations. This is who you want to hire. We are also preparing our students to work in the communities they come from and where they are needed most. More than 50% of our school psychology students identify as Latinx, and 61% of our students in our counseling programs are from underrepresented racial groups. We offer special designations to our Spanish-speaking counseling students to highlight how they are prepared to work in all communities, especially those communities often marginalized by our healthcare systems. Unfortunately, our school psychology and counseling programs currently have the lowest scholarship capacity of all the programs in the School of Education. On average, these students graduate with more than $55,000 in debt. One of my top priorities is to secure funding to the tune of $10 million, to remove all financial barriers to these programs, and to facilitate job placements in our neediest communities. I have the strongest sense of urgency in meeting this goal. I will also be persistent in identifying funding to support the research and creativity of our faculty and centers, prioritizing work that engages the communities we serve. I hope you're noticing a theme in all of our comments. Given our commitment to working with all education sectors and knowing that diversity of thought yields better answers, SOE is uniquely positioned to be a convener of ideas and a generator of solutions. I also know that it takes great effort and time to nurture the mutually beneficial partnerships that fuel community-engaged research. For this reason, we must reframe investments in meaningful collaborations as long-term investments with lasting value and impact. So I've shared a lot today about my first 7 months on the job. I hope you can hear my excitement about our faculty, students, programs, centers, partners, and alumni. I feel fortunate to be here at LMU at this moment. I am proud of SOE's track record of responsiveness to the needs of our partners and communities. This is imperative to our mission and long-term sustainability. And right now, I can think of no greater need than the need for ethical leaders. As a faith-based institution with an anti-racist and inclusive mission, we at the School of Education are best positioned to prepare bridge builders who can lead courageous conversations about the intersections of values, faith, and justice. I am looking to LMU's Jesuit and Marymount values to guide our thinking and actions, to see the dignity in every human, to see God in all things, and to be humble in our openness to learn from everyone. I look forward to working with all of you to fulfill our mission. Thank you for your time and attention. Please join me next door to the library on the 3rd floor of the library to continue conversation and enjoy refreshments. Thank you.